The metal cage was cold under her feet. The bars smelled of rust and fear. She stood barefoot, hands tied behind her back, surrounded by loud, strange creatures. Their eyes glowed. Their skin was purple, green, silver. None of them looked human. She was the only one. Her name was Aria, a young woman from Earth. She had once been a soldier, brave, strong, but now she was just another pet for sale in the alien market. "Let me go," she shouted. "I'm not an animal." Her voice echoed in the auction hall, but no one cared. A tall alien with 6 arms pulled her hair, forcing her to her knees. "Human female, rare, strong spirit," the seller announced loudly. "Obedience can be trained. Starting price, 5,000 credits." Aliens in the crowd began to raise their hands. One with scales offered 6. Another with long silver eyes offered 7. They laughed, pointing at her like she was a toy. Aria stared at the crowd, her heart beating fast. She wanted to scream, to fight, to run, but her body was weak. No food, no sleep, no chance. Then the room fell silent. A tall figure walked in. Slowly, quietly. He was not like the others. His skin was dark blue, like a night sky. His eyes were sharp, glowing gold. He wore a long black coat and carried no weapons, but something about him made everyone step back. He looked at Aria. And then he spoke. Just one word. 10. Gasps filled the hall. 10,000 credits. For a human? No one dared to outbid him. Sold. The auctioneer shouted. To Lord Varric of the Outer Ring. Aria's head dropped. Sold again. Another cage, another master. Inside the transport ship, she sat in silence. Her hands were free now, but 2 armed guards stood close. Varric sat across from her, calm and quiet, watching her with unreadable eyes. "Why did you buy me?" she asked, her voice low. He didn't answer. "I won't be your pet," she said louder. "I'm not a toy. I'm not a slave." Still no reply. After some time, the ship landed. A metal door opened. Fresh air touched her face, cool, clean, and strange. The sky was purple. The grass was red. Everything looked like a dream or a nightmare. Varric turned to her. "You are free to walk," he said. "Do not run. You won't survive out there." She looked around. No fences, no cages, no chains. Was this a trick? She walked. Then faster. Then she ran. The guards didn't stop her. She ran into the alien forest. The trees were tall and glowing. Strange animals watched her from the shadows. She didn't care. She ran until her legs burned, until her breath was gone. She had to get away. But then the storm came. Rain hit the ground like glass. The wind screamed. The sky cracked with thunder. She tried to find shelter, but there was none. Her feet slipped. Her arms shook. Cold water soaked her clothes. She collapsed under a tree, body shaking, lips blue. Darkness came fast. When she woke up, she was warm. She was lying in someone's lap. A heavy coat covered her. She blinked and looked up. It was him, Varric. He sat against the tree, holding her like she was fragile. His golden eyes stared at the rain. "You followed me," she whispered. "You almost died," he said. "You could have left me." "I could have," he said softly. "But I didn't." She didn't understand. Why would an alien, her buyer, care if she lived or died? "I still don't belong to you," she whispered. "I never said you did." She felt her heart beat faster. She wanted to hate him. She had to. But something about him confused her. He wasn't like the others. He didn't chain her. He didn't hurt her. He saved her. But why? Back at his home, a sleek alien building full of glowing lights and soft music, she was given a room, food, clean clothes, a bed. Alone. In the room, she looked out the window. Stars moved slowly in the purple sky. She touched her wrist. No chains. Her neck, no collar. What is this place? She whispered to herself. What does he want from me? Behind her, a small robot floated near the door. Welcome, human, it said. You are now part of the observation program. Please remain calm. Observation? She asked. The robot blinked. You are not a pet. You are a test. Asterisk. She didn't sleep. Not even for a minute. Arya sat on the edge of the strange, soft bed. The room was silent, glowing with a soft blue light that came from the walls. No windows. No guards. No chains. But she didn't feel safe. In fact, she felt like a mouse in a perfect, clean cage. Morning came, or at least something like it. On this alien planet, there were no suns, only shifting light in the sky. A small robot floated into her room. Good morning, Subject Arya, it said in a polite metallic voice. Your presence is requested. I'm not a subject, she muttered. You are under observation, it replied, unfazed. Please follow. She found Varuk standing by a round glass table. He wore the same long black coat, and his eyes, gold and glowing, watched her with no smile. No warmth, but also no cruelty. You slept in your clothes, he said, more as a statement than a question. I didn't come here for comfort, she replied sharply. You didn't come here at all, he said calmly. You were taken. The words hit her, hard, true. She folded her arms. So what now? You saved me from the storm. Do I say thank you? Curl up at your feet like a good little pet. His face didn't change, but he looked at her for a long moment before answering. You are not my pet, he said slowly. You are something more dangerous. She stared at him. Dangerous? Me? I'm one woman with no weapon, no power. You people. You have everything. Ships, armies, machines. Varuk walked over to a large screen and waved his hand. The screen lit up, showing images from Earth. Her Earth. She saw cities in ruins. Human ships falling from the sky. Fire. Smoke. Silence. What is this? She whispered, eyes wide. Your planet is gone, he said. Or nearly. The Council destroyed your armies. Captured your people. Most are in stasis or worse. She turned away, her chest burning. Why? She asked, voice shaking. They feared you. You're kind, emotional, violent, unpredictable, he said. But there are some of us who don't agree. He turned back to her. You are not here as a slave, Arya. You are here as a test. She laughed bitterly. So that's what this is, an experiment, like a lab rat? Not exactly. You are here to prove something, that humans deserve to live. Silence. She stepped closer to him, eyes blazing. And if I fail? He looked her straight in the eye, then earthed eyes. She felt her knees weaken, but she didn't fall. Instead, she walked past him and punched the screen. The glass cracked. You think I'll dance for you? Smile? Behave? I don't owe you anything. No, he said simply. You owe your people. That stopped her. Later that day, she sat alone in the garden behind the building. Alien plants glowed in the soft light. The air smelled of metal and flowers. She stared at her reflection in a small water pool. Was this really her now? From soldier to slave to experiment. She didn't cry. She had done enough of that in the cage. Behind her, the same robot floated. Down. There are others, it said quietly. She turned. What? Others like you, hidden, watching. She stood up. Humans? The robot blinked. Some are not. But they all wait for someone to lead. That night, she returned to her room and found a gift on her bed. A small stone. Smooth, cold. She picked it up. Inside it, tiny lights moved, like stars trapped in glass. A message appeared above it. You are not alone. She turned to the door. Varek, she shouted. What is this? What are you doing? He didn't answer, but she knew he had left it there. In the quiet, she finally understood something. She wasn't trapped here. She was being watched, yes, but not just by him. By the entire galaxy. Her choices, her words, her actions, they all meant something now. This wasn't about survival anymore. It was about proving the worth of her entire species. And that was a heavy weight. But she lifted her chin. Let them watch. Let them fear. She would show them what a human really was. She stood in front of the mirror, not to check her hair, not to see if she looked pretty, but to remind herself she was still human. The face staring back was tired, eyes red, jaw tense, but alive. And that mattered. Because today she would find out what this test really meant. Come with me, said the robot, floating at her door again. No name, no tone, just orders. But Arya walked without fear. She had decided she would not break. Not here, not for them. The hallway was long and white, glowing faintly. No doors, no windows. Just the sound of her footsteps echoing off the walls. Finally, a door slid open. She entered a round chamber, cold, silent. High above, alien figures sat in shadow, watching from behind a glass wall. Varrock stood in the center. This is the observation room, he said. They're listening. Let them, she said flatly. He gave a small nod. They want to see what makes you different. From what? From the others who died. The words hit like ice. Arya looked up at the glass wall. She couldn't see their faces, but she could feel their eyes. They tested others? She asked. Yes, Varrock said. Some humans, some other species. All failed. What was the test? He stepped back. A panel opened in the floor. A child rose up. Alien. Small, pale skin. Scared eyes. What is this? Arya asked sharply. Child looked at her and trembled. This is your test, Varrock said. Save the child, Arya blinked. That's it. What kind of test is this? Varrock didn't reply. Suddenly, the floor cracked open again. A beast crawled out, metal skin. 4 legs, red glowing eyes. It roared and charged at the child, without thinking. Arya ran. She slid across the floor and grabbed the child, pulling it into her arms. The beast lunged. She turned her back, using her body to protect the child. The beast stopped, mid-air, frozen. Then vanished into smoke. The floor sealed. The chamber went dark. She stood, breathing hard, holding the child tight. From above, a voice echoed. Subject passed phase 1. Emotional sacrifice confirmed. Varrock stepped forward and gently took the child from her. You jumped without thinking, he said. Wouldn't you? No, that's the difference between us. Later, she sat in the small room with a warm drink in her hands. The child was gone. The walls were quiet again, but she couldn't forget those eyes. So much fear. So much trust. A child that wasn't even human. But it didn't matter. To her, fear was fear. And a child was a child. That night, she sat on the balcony of her room. Red stars burned softly in the sky. Varrock stepped beside her. No questions today? He asked. I don't need to ask, she replied. You people see emotion as weakness. It is. No, it's our greatest strength. He looked at her. Do you know how many civilizations died because they couldn't control their emotions? She smiled sadly. Do you know how many survived because they refused to stop feeling? He didn't answer. But he stayed a little longer, and that, she noticed, was something new. Later, in the quiet of her room, the small stone on her table glowed again. Another message appeared. Phase 1 complete. Phase 2 begins tomorrow. You are not alone. Others are watching. Some want you to fail. She stared at the words for a long time. Then she whispered, let them watch. Far away, in a hidden station orbiting a dead moon, a group of shadowed figures spoke in a strange language. One of them pointed to a screen showing Arya's face. Another tapped a red button. A signal was sent. Back on Varrock's planet, Something deep underground began to move. Phase 2 was not what she expected. The light in her room changed, not the color, not the shape, the feeling. It was colder, heavier, like something unseen had entered the space. Arya stood still, the glowing stone on her desk was dark, silent. She walked toward it slowly and noticed a new symbol carved into its side. A mark that wasn't there yesterday. 3 short lines, one long one beneath them. She didn't know what it meant, but her heart did. It was a call. Later, in the hallway, she spoke without turning her head. "Varuk, you're following me." "I walk here often," he replied, calm as always. She kept walking. "I know there are others," she said. He didn't answer. "I found the signal in the stone. It's a code, coordinates." Still silence. She turned to face him. "I'm going. Now." He spoke. "That place is forbidden." She raised her chin, so was saving a child. "Didn't stop me then." She stole a map from the robot system. Basic, rough, enough. At night, she slipped past the outer wall of the compound, through a broken fence hidden behind tall alien flowers. She walked for hours, through thick glowing trees, until her boots were soaked and her legs burned. Finally, she reached the place. It looked like a hill until she touched it. The ground shimmered, then disappeared. A metal door appeared beneath her hand. It slid open with a hiss. Inside, darkness, cold, dust. She moved quietly, using only the soft light from her wrist device. The hallway curved downward, deeper, older. And then she saw them. Cages, rows and rows. Dozens, maybe hundreds. Inside each one, a human, some awake, some asleep, some staring with empty eyes. Her heart sank. She walked to the nearest cell. A man looked up, pale, thin, angry. "Who are you?" he whispered. "Arya," she said. "I thought I was alone." "You're not," he said. "But we've been forgotten." She found a control panel and forced it open. Sparks flew. Alarms didn't ring. No guards came. This place had been abandoned. On purpose, she opened 3 cages, then 4, then 10. Some humans cried. Others just stood in silence, blinking like they'd forgotten what freedom felt like. "I'm getting you out," she said. "All of you." One girl stepped forward, voice shaking. "They said we failed the test, so they locked us away." "No," Arya said, fire in her chest. "You were never tested. You were buried." She brought them food, blankets, a signal device. "Rest tonight," she told them. "Tomorrow we move." As she climbed back toward the surface, she whispered to herself. Varuk knew. Back at the compound, she burst into his chamber. "You lied," she said. "I said it was forbidden," he replied quietly. "You knew what was down there. You let me go." He didn't deny it. She stepped closer. "Why?" he looked at her with tired eyes. "Because I wanted to see what you would do. And now?" "Now I know," he said. "You're more dangerous than they feared." She didn't smile. She didn't blink. Good. That night, she received another message. This time, a voice, not a recording, a whisper. "We see you. We hear you. Lead and we will rise." Somewhere in deep space, across 10 systems, hidden humans, rebels, and even a few alien sympathizers saw the same message on their screens. The human spark has not gone out. Arya stood in the courtyard at dawn. Behind her, the freed one stood. Taller. Still weak. Still afraid, but ready. Varuk watched from the shadows, and for the first time, he looked uncertain. The hidden army was waking, and the galaxy had no idea what was coming. Her voice shook, but only for the first word. "Stand." She stood on a rusted metal platform in the middle of the hidden shelter. Below her, more than 50 humans, tired, thin, scared, slowly rose to their feet. "You're not weapons," she said. Not slaves, not failed test subjects, your people. And people fight back. No one cheered. Not yet, but someone nodded. And that was enough. The next few days were harder than war. Arya trained them herself. They used broken chairs as weights, sticks as weapons, and memory as their fuel. They had no army, just old pain and a growing fire in their chests. She taught them how to move silently, how to break locks, how to send secret signals using nothing but light and hand signs. Your mind is your blade now, she told them. Stay sharp, stay alive. Varuk watched from a distance. He never interrupted. But every night she found food waiting. Medical supplies. Blank bullets for practice. He never admitted it was from him, but she knew. One evening, after a long day of drills, Arya found him standing under the sky dome. He spoke without turning. You're building something that cannot be stopped. Good, she said. You may force their hand, he warned. I'm counting on it. He finally turned to face her. Do you want revenge? She shook her head. I want to remind them what fear feels like. The next day, it began, a supply ship landed near the old mines, a place where captured species worked under chains. Arya and a team of 10 approached in silence. 2 guards. 1 tower. 1 code panel. She gave hand signs. They moved like ghosts. One dropped silently behind the guard and took him down. The others sliced the tower wire. They entered. What they found made some of them cry. More cages, not just humans. Other species too. All broken. She opened every lock. Go, she told them. Run, fight, or hide. Just don't stay quiet. One alien with glowing green skin stopped. You are not one of us, he said. Why help? Because we're all chained by the same hands, she replied. The rebellion didn't spread with fire. It spread like wind. Quiet, fast, unstoppable. One night, Arya returned to the compound and found Varuk waiting in her room. I received a message, he said, from the council. She stiffened. What did they say? They're watching, they know. They want to end it before it grows. She crossed her arms. Let them try. He handed her a small device. You'll need this. It can shut down surveillance for 5 minutes. She narrowed her eyes. Why are you helping me now? He didn't look away. Because I've lived a long time, Arya. Long enough to know when the wrong side starts to feel too quiet. Later, she played the device's hidden message. A voice spoke, one she hadn't heard before. Deep, alien, cold. Humanity burns too bright. Snuff it out. Her hand gripped the edge of the table. So it was real. They weren't just watching her. They were planning her end. She called her people together. This time, more than 100 stood in the circle. Some wore stolen armor. Others still wore rags, but all of them had the same eyes now. The eyes of fighters. She stood in the middle. Tonight, she said, we don't run. We don't hide. They leaned closer. Tonight, we send a message. As they moved through the tunnels, torches in hand, something changed in the air, a feeling. Charge. This wasn't escape anymore. This was war. They reached the CUM station, one of the largest towers in the sector, heavily guarded, fortified. But Arya smiled. Time to test everything we've learned. The fight was short, loud, and perfect. Distraction at the north gate. Smoke bombs in the vents. A surprise strike from the air ducts. Arya reached the control room and sent one single message across every screen in the sector. Just 4 words. We are not done. Back at the council, fear spread like fire. They thought the experiment had failed, but it had just begun. Asterisk, the council chamber was not a room. It was a planet, or at least it felt like one. A floating hall in deep space, made of black crystal and glowing stars. Dozens of alien leaders hovered in high seats. Cold faces, cold hearts. All silent. In the center, a single circle of light. and standing in it was Arya. No armor, no weapons, no allies in sight, just her, and the judgment of the galaxy. A voice echoed across the chamber, deep and metallic. State your species. Human, Arya said. Purpose of existence? She raised her eyes. To live, to feel, to fight for both. Laughter came from one side. A blue-scaled judge sneered. Emotions, weakness. You infect others with it. We've seen your wars. You've seen our worst, she replied, but never our best. A large alien with silver eyes leaned forward. You led attacks against council property. You freed prisoners. You formed an illegal militia. I brought life where you built cages. Murmurs. Another voice. Do you deny that humans are unstable, dangerous? I agree, she said. Gasps. Silence. Then she added, but so are storms. So are stars. So is change. The council whispered among themselves. She could hear none of it. Only her heart. Then a new voice filled the room. Familiar. Var. UK. He stood across the chamber. In a second ring of light. He was no longer quiet. No longer watching. He was testifying. I was the one who bought her, he said. I was sent to observe, to test, to find failure. And what did you find? Asked the head elder. Varek looked at Arya. I found danger, but not the kind I expected. He stepped closer. Not the danger of destruction, the danger of awakening. She makes others feel, think, act. She reminds us that the fire in the heart can still burn. The council was not pleased. You sympathize with the test subject, one barked. No, Varek said. I believe in her. More gasps. Now the chamber shook slightly, tension building. The head elder rose. A tall being with glowing horns and eyes like mirrors. You are a threat to balance, he told Arya. Then maybe balance is the problem, she replied. The elder raised his hand. Your final test begins now. A door opened. From it walked a child, alien but familiar. The same species she had once saved during the observation. The child held a weapon, a silver cube with a blinking red light. One press would send a signal, a command to destroy Earth. Will you stop the child? The elder asked. Arya's hands tightened. Will you use force to protect your kind? Even if it means hurting another innocent. She knelt down slowly in front of the child. No, she said, I won't hurt you. The child looked up at her, confused, scared. But I will tell you something, she continued. I would die for my people. I would burn myself to keep them warm. That is what being human means. The child looked at the cube. Then dropped it. A soft chime rang across the chamber. Test complete. The head elder frowned. This was not the expected result. No, said Varuk. It was the human result. The chamber lights shifted. From above, screens appeared. Clips began to play. Footage of Arya training others, saving prisoners, showing mercy to enemies. The council had seen enough war, enough hate, but never this. A vote was called. Silence fell. Each council member raised a hand, or claw, or tentacle. One by one, lights turned green. Then finally, majority, approved. Humanity will not be erased. Arya dropped to her knees. Not in weakness, in relief. Not for herself, but for the billions of voices she carried inside her heart. Varek stepped beside her. It's done, he said. No, she whispered. It's just beginning. Far away on the edge of a new galaxy, Earth's people, what was left of them, received a signal. You are free. You are not forgotten. You are human. And now, the stars were theirs again. She didn't return as a soldier. She returned as a voice. Symbol. A storm. The ship entered Earth's orbit slowly, silent, wounded, but alive. She stood at the front window, staring down at the home she barely remembered. Blue, green, cloud-wrapped. Still beautiful. It had survived. So had she. Behind her. Varrock stood without speaking. You came all this way, she said, not turning. I had to see how your story ends, he replied. She gave him a quiet smile. It's not ending, she said. It's changing shape. They landed on a scorched field. The cities were cracked, towers broken. Roads split like scars, but the people were already rebuilding, with hands, with tools. With hope. Children ran toward the ship as the doors opened. They had never seen her before, but somehow, they knew her. Not as a warrior, not as a leader. As the one who came back. Arya walked through the city slowly, passing faces that lit up with recognition. Some bowed, some cried, some just stood and watched. She didn't ask for any of it, but she understood it now. They weren't thanking her for power. They were thanking her for proof that being human was enough. At night, she sat by a broken wall with Varrock. They stared up at the sky, where stars once looked like escape. Now they looked like home. He broke the silence. First, you could be a queen now. She chuckled. I'm not here to rule. Then what? She picked up a piece of old stone, held it in her palm. To teach, she said. To rebuild, to remember. He looked at her. I've lived 100 years, he said. But I've only felt alive since I met you. She turned to him, calm and honest. You still think I was your experiment? He shook his head. No. She leaned closer. I was never your pet. I know, and I was never your subject. I know that too. Then what was I? He gave a rare, quiet smile. You were the mirror. Later, she walked alone to the edge of the city. There a flag had been raised, but not of war. White banner. Hand-painted with 3 words. We are human. A broadcast played across 100 systems that night. It showed her face, her voice. A message not just for humans, but for anyone who had ever been caged, silenced, or told they were less. We are not perfect. We feel too much. We make mistakes, but that's what makes us worth saving. We learn. We love. We rise. And no matter how far we fall, we always rise again. Aliens on distant worlds watched. Silent. Some with fear, some with awe, some with tears. A child on a mining colony whispered to their parent, "Will she come here too?" The parent smiled softly. She already has, in the story. As for Arya, she didn't return to command armies. She built schools, taught children, sat with the broken and the brave. Her face faded from the statues, but her story never did, because it wasn't about winning a war. It was about remembering who we are and who we could still become. One day, many years later, a young girl sat beside her and asked, "Are we free now?" Arya looked up at the stars and smiled. "Not yet," she turned to the girl, "but we're human now." And that was enough.